Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 122. I'm your host, Rico, here with my co-host.
Oh, Mr. Dane Cody.
I was like, what happened? I was just talking to him a second
I
ago.
know. It was one of those, like, I choked, you know? I was like, do I go in with the, like, big Mr. Dane Cody? Or maybe I just Dane Cody.
Yeah, and then your brain didn't work.
And then my brain went, so you get Dane, yo, what's up? I'm here. Let's talk about some video games.
Yeah.
A little bit of what we've been playing, aka
welcome.
How was PAX?
I keep trying to talk and you're talking.
I got all this energy, man. It just needs to come out.
I think you seeped it all from me in our room or something. Like a evil spirit or something.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. We get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. As you can tell, I might have a little bit of the PAX Pox.
Sucker!
To be honest, I think I may have been patient zero. So if you went to PAX and you're sick now, you're welcome.
I'm not, so ha!
Yeah.
My getting a good night's sleep paid off.
I thought you were sick, and you told me you weren't sick, and I didn't trust you, but to be honest, my daughter was sick last week, so I thought I beat it, but I guess I didn't, because now my wife is laughing at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got back from PAX, a little whirlwind tour with D, my man, down to Seattle with some of our friends. There was a little crew of us. My buddy Jason and Scott joined us. They've never been to PAX before, so it was their first PAX.
We popped their PAX cherry.
It was my 8th PAX, or 9th if you count the first year that it started, but we don't count that because it was very sad that year.
I think this was my 5th PAX.
But yeah, we stayed at the Sheraton across the street.
Oh, that was so good. That we need to do again.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
Very helpful.
Yeah, I'll get it again next year. It was pretty easy to get. It's like instead of buying passes, I just go straight to the hotel reservation system and pshh.
Bang.
So, for those of you who do not know, PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo, founded by Penny Arcade, very popular webcomic. I think they do like some YouTube/reality artist-centric TV shows or internet shows.
They do a ton of stuff. I mean, they do a webcomic still. They do a couple webcomics.
Yeah, one's getting made into a freaking movie.
Yeah, they also do, well, they did do, like you said, it was sort of a reality type. It was kind of like a mini reality show about them hiring a new person and all the people.
Yeah, like a new artist.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
And it was kind of Survivor style. Like they basically had elimination and they had different games or activities and you'd get immunity and whoever performed the worst would go to the executioner's chair. Well, not quite dramatic like that, but
close enough.
Yeah, it was cool. I actually watched that, but I can't remember the name of it now for the life of me.
Yeah, me neither. They also started the charity Child's Play. Which, you may have heard of it. It essentially what it does is it buys toys and other things for kids in children's hospitals around the world. So
primarily video games. For sick kids.
And like comic books and toys, all kinds of stuff.
All types of nerdery.
So that, you know, when your kid is sick, going through some bad shit, at least they got some cool stuff that, you know, they can do and take their mind off of all the bad stuff going on around them, which is
they can
pretty cool.
Use and escape. That's where Extra Life comes from. Is Extra Life Child's Play? No, you can donate to Child's Play, but that's probably one of the more popular charities. So Penny Arcade Expo is their version of a fan-centric E3. Basically, you've got all kinds of panels, booths, board games, tabletop games, video games, card games. You frickin' name it, it's there. This year, I don't think there's anything different, really. Same old 4 years in Seattle. It's a little more expensive, but yeah, it's like highlight of my year. To be honest, I have a hard time saying which is better between PAX and E3. And I've thrown the argument out there before that like PAX is better.
Yep.
For everyone, whereas I love E3, but that's only because I have access. If I didn't have access, it would be hands down PAX is better.
Right.
So, I don't know. I haven't missed one in a long time, and it being in our backyard makes it a little easier to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
So, do we want to go into PAX, or do you want to talk about what we've been playing and then go into PAX? I don't know. There's not a lot of news this week.
Well, you sound like you've been drinking cough syrup.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah. So usually we start the show with what you've been playing, get into some news and stuff. And then, of course, our free-for-all section, public service announcements, and question section. But we're a little light in all departments. So probably just start with what you've been playing. And then I guess PAX will be our news. But even before we get to that...
If you haven't noticed already, this is going to be a PAX extravaganza.
Yeah, and even before that, we start with our designated drinking section.
Yeah.
And you can't be a geekaholic without being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And as I already said at the top of the show, I'm sick, so I sound like shit.
So you're drinking cough syrup.
Yeah, no, I'm not drinking cough syrup.
Oh.
I'm drinking some nice echinacea tea to make myself feel better.
With cough syrup?
No, I don't think we even have any cough syrup in my house.
What kind of house is yours? It sounds terrible.
I'm not really coughing. I'm just like plugged up and have a bunch of shit in the back of my throat and sinuses and head. And yeah, it's just all congested. It's wonderful. As in not wonderful. Dane, what are you drinking out of the 50 bottles you brought back from Seattle?
Dude, come on. I only brought 2 back.
Okay.
I didn't realize nobody else was going to bring booze across the border. I had to at least utilize the gift that I had been given and bring back at least 2.
Yeah, you could have brought back 4.
Technically, I could have only brought back 3, but yeah, I'm...
Is the limit 3 for one person?
No, technically the limit is 1 per person, but because there was 4 of us in the car and you guys weren't bringing anything across, I could essentially say that we each brought 1.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You could have brought 4.
But you already had a bottle of champagne, so that
we were gonna throw that out.
What? Don't tell me you threw it out.
No.
Oh.
Scott took it. But had you needed the capacity to bring one more bottle, we could have.
Oh, now you tell me. Thanks a lot.
No, you only bought 2 anyway. So
I know.
Whatever.
Well, man. I didn't want to push it, you know. Anyways, so tonight I'm drinking a apple cider, a hard apple cider, with a shot of whiskey in it. Jameson's Select whiskey in it.
Sounds very nice.
It's actually delicious.
It sounds delicious.
Surprising amount of alcohol in it, actually.
My tea's really nice.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So let's get right to it. What you been playing, Rico? I've been playing Destiny Mother Effin' 2.
So
all day.
You've been a sick motherfucker all day. So you've been playing Destiny 2 all day. So Rick,
yeah.
Let's start here. You're playing it on the PS4, correct?
Pro.
On the PlayStation 4 Pro. You preloaded it, I assume.
Yes,
it unlocked for you yesterday night.
I actually started playing it last night. Yes,
I assumed that was the case.
I got a bunch of messages from people like, how are you playing Destiny already? And I'm like,
it was my destiny. Duh.
Digital? Duh. They made a big point about saying it unlocked on Tuesday night at 9 p.m.
Yeah, it always does.
Which was September 6th.
You're not an idiot
Eastern time.
You know. Who buys it?
No. Some people didn't know.
Yeah, but who's buying games for their Xbox and their PlayStation 4 not digitally anymore? Like hard copies?
A lot of people. To be honest, I bought Destiny 2 physically because I got like a price error on it for $55.
Right.
On Amazon.
But then you realized that you would have had to wait till tomorrow or today to play it.
Well, here's a funny story. I forgot that I also ordered it from Best Buy for some freaking reason.
What the hell, dude?
I think I threw it in the cart to get free shipping on an Amiibo.
Of course you did.
And I forgot to cancel it. So when I tried canceling it, they said it was too late, but whatever. I got to just return it to the store. But good thing I didn't wait for that physical copy because...
Neither of them showed up today?
No, it didn't show up. So thank God I pre-ordered it digitally or I would have been a very sad panda.
So I've told the story before on the show. The last game that I had pre-ordered a physical copy of was the original Destiny. I went to the midnight launch of said game. I stood in line outside of EB Games.
Oh, that's a dumb idea.
For over an hour. And my line had not moved.
No.
So I went home, downloaded the game digitally, went back to the store the next day, and returned my copy, because fuck them.
Yeah, I can't remember the last midnight launch I did.
And that was the last game that I bought physically for my Xbox 360 or my PlayStation 4.
I remember what it was. It was Grand Theft Auto 5. I went to the midnight launch at EB. I was up in Nanaimo doing training for work, so I was away from home. And I'm like, I'm in the hotel with my PS4.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'll just go get it at, midnight. No problem. I'm here by myself. I'm solo, and I pull up there, and it's like, okay, like you said, this 100 people. This lineup's not moving at all.
Well, my problem was the lineup wouldn't have been that bad. The issue that I ran into was that there was two lineups. There was all the people that had their stupid, they were EB Game Plus members or whatever the hell it is.
Platinum members.
So they all had their own lineup, and they didn't let a single person out of the regular lineup go until the other lineup was done. So what kept happening was all the people in the Platinum members or Gold members lineup or the members lineup, all of those people freaking were showing up, and they just kept showing up. And so they continued to wander in throughout the hour.
I don't think they do that anymore.
And so our lineup just wasn't moving. And when I went up to the front, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And the guy from EB was like, we gotta wait till this lineup here is done. And then once these guys have gotten theirs, then we're going to start doing this lineup here. So your lineup should start moving soon. And as soon as he told me that, I was just like, fuck you. I'm like, I'm going to go home
so livid
and download the fucking game, and I will be playing it long before you assholes in this fucking line get to it. So
I would be so livid. That's pretty much what happened too for me. But the thing is in this complex, there was also a Best Buy.
So you just walked over to the Best Buy and picked it up?
I walked over to the Best Buy, walked in the door, picked it up, and walked out.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, never doing that again. And then I went in the next day and just got my money back from the stupid deposit I had to put on it to pre-order it. Because in case there was a video game shortage.
Yeah. So that was the last time that that was definitely the last time I pre-ordered anything from EB Games, because those guys were fucking tools.
Yeah, I think they fixed their system and that they just have a lineup for people who've paid. So it's faster if you paid in full with no trade-ins, and then they have a regular lineup. I don't think they do the platinum asshole lineup anymore. But
see, our lineup, they were saying flat out, you can't, you couldn't trade in and shit like that. You just had to, freaking just sit down and pay your money. But yeah. It was
I remember
stupid.
that was a definite benefit of being a platinum member. It's listed on their thing. It's skip the line at midnight launches.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I didn't do any of that nonsense. I preloaded digitally. And to be honest, I think Destiny 2 preloaded digitally on my PS4 faster than any other game. I don't know how long it took, but all I know is I I bought it digitally.
Yeah.
And I actually bought it from Amazon.com because I managed to have some credit, so it wasn't too expensive.
Right.
And I don't know what I did. I think I went and made a sandwich, came back, and it was literally done, like 38 gigs.
Wow.
I thought something happened or that it screwed up because I was expecting it to take like a day to download.
Oh, you're thinking to yourself, oh crap, something went wrong. It's going to like, I'm going to load the game and it's going to be all downloaded or something.
Like I didn't even see, I was gone. I don't know. I don't think I was gone that long, but when I came back, it's like, I didn't even see a progress bar. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to play it when it comes out. Something screwed up.
Right.
And like when I launch it, it just had the preload timer, and I'm like, hey, well, that's pretty normal. It's not loading anything. Maybe it's loading in the background. And then I'm like, oh, I know. I'll just hit options and go to information. I'm like, no, it's fully downloaded, 38 gigs and all this stuff. I'm like, wow. I was still a little concerned until actually I went to go launch it, and it worked fine, except for I was in a queue I was freaking out at first. Because I thought that I was going to be in a queue all night. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, it begins. Because I launched right at 9 p.m.
Right.
And then I started seeing Twitter blow up. A bunch of people I follow are like, no. And they're all in the queue. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me, so it's all good.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, hopefully the servers don't blow up and I'm going to get to play tonight. It was about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
The thing I didn't like about it, though, there was no, like, estimation.
Oh, like estimated wait time is 10 minutes?
It was just spinning circle, Destiny logo circle thing. And you're in queue, and you'll get in as soon as it's ready. It did have some nice music playing, at least.
Oh, that's fair.
So I started playing Destiny. Played a little bit last night. Forced myself to go to bed. Played a bunch more today. I created a warlock.
Okay.
Carrying over some of my cosmetics from the last game.
So I was going to ask, how does that stuff work?
That's the only thing it carries over is your face, your race, and how your character looked.
Okay.
There was a nice little, I don't know, you might say it's a spoiler, so maybe skip for a minute if you don't want to know. Okay, we're going into spoiler territory. Now, when you start the game, it basically goes over all the stuff you've done over the years on the old game.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is kind of neat. It actually just has like a really cool music, very, very emotional music. And then it's like Vault of Glass. And then it has all the names of the people you completed it with the first time. Prison of Elders, the Fallen King, Iron Banner, like all the stuff that you had done for the first time.
Right.
It had like the people who you've been playing with, which is really cool because it had like me and Trevor and my buddy Darren in there and a bunch of names. Like, oh man, I haven't played with those guys for that was like 2 years ago. I'm like, man, it seems a lot more recent, but that was cool. Trip down memory lane. It was a neat little surprise. And then of course it goes into the homecoming mission, which we've all played 3 times now. So 6 or 7 for me now.
That's actually partly why I'm on the fence. Like, there's a little part of me that is tempted to pick up on PS4 so that I can pick up because I've already picked up on PC. There's a little part of me that still wants to do that, but there's another part of me that is like, do I really want to play the beginning of this game for what would be the 5th time now?
Yeah, literally it's like the 7th or 8th time I played this mission, which is fine. I just I don't know, I really like the game. I blazed through it, and basically there's a bunch of missions, bunch of stuff happens. Don't want to really get too detailed.
Yeah.
And then you get to your first social spot, the farm.
Okay.
And then from there, they actually send you into... Excuse me, I'm going to cough.
Jeez, I can't believe you having to cough. You should be ashamed of yourself. At least he muted his microphone when he did it.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't want to cough. Ow. Just punch the table. I don't want to cough into the microphone. So yeah, you go to the farm. Basically, everyone's regrouping after the events of, that first level. Everyone's pretty familiar. The tower's been destroyed. The Guardians have been spread across the universe or the galaxy or the solar system, whatever you want to freaking call it. And basically, you guys are down. You've been beaten down. Classic video game trope. You've lost your powers. You've lost your gear. Everyone's scattered. And then basically you're trying to get the band together and come up with a battle plan for retaliation against the Red Legion. Because they've basically taken over the last city and imprisoned the Traveler.
Right.
And taken all the Guardians' light. So I don't want to get into story spoilers. So I'll stay away from that. But soon after a few really cool missions and more amazing music's really good in this game. Like the soundtrack is phenomenal.
Oh, that's good.
You basically get into Earth in your first like patrol-ish area. I've maybe seen a quarter of that area, not even.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty massive. There are so many quality of life changes in Destiny 2. It's ridiculous. They show you when public events are going to happen on the map.
Yeah,
with a countdown timer. Like, how amazing is that?
I read, I was reading like an article earlier that was going on about like the 5 things that Destiny 2 changes that are great. One of them they were saying was that it's just being able to see where shit's happening on the map at like those big events is so helpful.
It's fantastic because they've basically come up with some new systems. On each planet, there's a main NPC who gives you quests, sells gear, and also has a reputation.
Oh, interesting.
That you can build up, and you'll get rewarded with high level loot.
Okay,
I've actually hit the first level of reputation on the Earth.
Wow,
with the Earth guy.
Where did you go?
What's his name?
It's like you had the day off to like play Destiny or something.
I had the day off. I'm level 14. Sorry.
Okay, out of a max of 20.
Max of 20, and I don't know what the power level is. I don't know if it's power light. I can't remember if it's power or light. I think it's power. I think they changed it instead of light.
Okay.
Or maybe it's light again. I can't remember. I've seen guys over 200, so I don't know what the max is for that. I've seen a couple level 20s already, by the way.
I'm sure you have.
The campaign...
They played all night.
The campaign apparently isn't the longest in the world, but it is a huge improvement than any other campaign.
Yeah.
There's tons of cutscenes, tons of story. It all makes sense. It's a good story. It's not some...
You haven't finished it yet.
Goop.
Don't get me too excited.
No, I haven't finished it yet, but man, I can tell you, it definitely has more story elements.
Well, that's good.
Probably any amount of Destiny up until this point already. Easily. So when you're in Earth, or like these patrol, I guess you want to call them patrol areas, or the actual planets themselves, they almost feel like more open, like it's just an open world, because there are the main missions that you have to get to.
Right.
There's no like just launching into them. You have to go to them on the map, and there are activities as well, which are kind of like missions. Except for maybe they're not as crazy with the, roller coaster Hollywood blockbuster summer amount of crazy shit and scripted scenes happening.
Okay.
But they are not like little patrol activities where it's like, just kill these guys and kill these guys. There's actually a lot of stuff that happens on them. They are like mini missions.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have rewards like loot and so forth. And they're scattered all over the map, and they appear as you open up more areas and go to more areas, and fast travel points open up. One thing that's really different than Destiny 1 is you don't just get a sparrow. Apparently, you don't get a sparrow probably until you hit level 20 and then some.
Yeah, I saw that actually. An article somebody written earlier. I didn't read it, but I saw, the question, where is my sparrow?
Yeah, you literally have to get a drop to get a sparrow.
Oh, wow. I mean, it kind of makes sense because everything's sort of been removed from you. So, I mean, I can kind of see them doing something like that where you have to, you have to go find or you have to re-earn your sparrow. They're not just going to give it back to you and be like, here you go. You start with one.
I've driven vehicles, different vehicles.
Cool.
There was a new one that I drove in one level.
Oh.
I don't know. It obviously was probably a little scripted for that level, but it was never driven one of those before.
Right. But that's cool. Like, that's the stuff that, that was partly what was missing, I think, from the first Destiny, right? Like, the fact that you didn't really, you just, there was a loop, and while it was fun, there was nothing really outside of that loop, right? So, like, the fact that they're adding in more stuff and things to do, and that's good. Like, that makes me happy.
It is pretty awesome. Like, I honestly forgot it was what day it was today, and I was like putting the baby down, and I'm like, I'm gonna go play some more. And then you text me, I'm like, shit, I gotta record the podcast. I'm like, God damn it.
Sucker.
Yeah, pretty much. Sucker.
Yeah. Although right now it sounds like not a whole lot of people are playing at the moment because it sounds like there's a pretty significant error going on or something. I don't know. I was just looking on Twitter, like somebody apparently a ton of people are having an issue where it's almost like changing. There's an issue where it's like the status of them being able to play online is changed or something.
Huh.
So they'll be playing and then all of a sudden they'll get an error and it'll be like this, the status of you, blah, 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 has changed.
The most amount of people that are going to be playing are probably playing tonight now that everyone's gotten home, picked up their retail copies and whatnot.
Totally. So it sounds like their Destiny's already said, like, we're looking into this, we're working on it, hang tight, we're trying to figure out what's going on. But it's already, there's like a ton of people that are choked. But it's like, it's freaking launch day. And like you said, a ton of people got the game today. A ton of people got home and started downloading it. So now they're finally hammering the servers. It sounds like there's already a bit of like, I mean, you've already said there's been queues. I mean, I'm wondering.
I only saw it the one time. I had no problems signing on and playing today, and I quit a couple times today to like make lunch and breakfast and stuff.
Yeah, I'm seeing it more tonight. I'm seeing more people again have that problem. So I'm wondering, like, obviously there's a ton of people picking up the game and downloading the game and playing the game. So I'm wondering it might be a week or two till they really kind of get it fully ironed out, be able to get more servers online, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm sure it's just tonight. So, yeah, no Sparrow the world feels more alive. There's more stuff to do.
Good.
The areas are way denser. There's tons of curling paths, like vertically, and
it's not just these giant sort of areas where you can.
Okay. Like, there's so many nooks and crannies in this. It's like, there's something over. Can I go over here? Oh, yes, you can. Like,
awesome.
There's all these. Like, it seems like these areas that would be dead ends in the original game are actually open, and usually
there's a reason why you want to go check it out.
There's a reason or a reward. Like, there's either a treasure chest or a boss, a high level target, which will drop a chest. It's, man, it is such a huge improvement. Now, if you hated the first Destiny,
it's not really going to do anything here to change your mind.
I don't know. Like, it depends why you hated the first Destiny.
Right.
If you hated the first Destiny because it had a weak ass story, well, this one has a really good story.
Right.
I haven't gotten to the end game. I've only probably played like 8 or 10 hours, so I can't say what the end game's like. I haven't done any strikes yet.
Like besides the one that was in the beta.
Yeah, and I don't know how they incorporate the strikes into the rest of the game. Maybe at the point where I'm at now, strikes will start showing up because I do something that I've done in the game, and maybe that's what it took, was getting to this certain point.
Right.
Seems like there's still a lot of stuff that's locked off to me. Like I said, I was level 14. I think I'm power 150 something. I got a couple exotics
already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Part of the storyline, you get some exotics.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
You can choose. I guess if it'll be the same for each class, but it's like earlier during the story missions, you get a choice of armor.
Okay.
And then most recent mission I just completed, you get a choice of weapons. All of it. There is no exotic armor in the beta, so I'd never seen that.
Right.
And then the weapons were included. 2 of the 3 weapons were included in the beta. There's a new one, but I don't know if it's different per class. The one weapon I got is pretty freaking cool. I must say, I am enjoying it. It is now my main. They have the infusion system, so you can upgrade stuff, but I don't have any legendary shards because I haven't got any legendary gear to dismantle.
Okay. So it's like, it sounds like there's a lot of... It's sounding like they took a lot of what made the first Destiny good and got rid of a bunch of stuff that made the first Destiny bad.
A lot of the stuff that didn't make sense, or was a pain in the ass, like going to orbit, that's gone. You can just go straight to another planet.
So is there any reason, like, so do you get spaceships now?
They have spaceships still. Like, you can sit in orbit, I guess. If you want to wait for your party to form up, you can do that, but you can just wait for them at the farm.
Hang out weird, okay.
Or at Earth or something, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense why you would do that, but it's still there. After some missions, story missions, it does send you back to orbit.
Okay,
I totally lied. I'm 133.
Okay.
Is my power or light level, whatever the hell it is. It doesn't tell me.
Okay.
I'm using a Warlock, the Dawnblade. It's pretty freaking awesome. You get ability, like I've got a bunch of the stuff unlocked I've actually unlocked my second subclass, which a lot of people haven't yet.
Sweet.
I don't know if I fluked out. I got an item from a public event.
Oh.
Which is like, reminds you about your subclass. So I don't know if it's different per class or what.
Okay.
But I managed unlocking it, so I got my Voidwalker as well.
Sweet.
And that had a really cool mission to unlock that, like a whole story mission just for that.
Very nice. So it sounds like there's
so much story and content compared to the first game. It's ridiculous. It's a huge change, and the quality of life stuff seems so obvious, but I guess they're too entrenched with the old platform that they can change some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Again,
I think it makes it hard.
I'm not at the end game, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm really kind of curious about. Like, if they put a ton, like, it sounds like they put a ton of work into all of that, obviously, which is amazing. But I'm wondering, like, does that mean that they didn't have any time to put into the end game, or is it just there is a ton of other stuff in the end game as well?
I hear there's a lot of end game.
Yeah.
I hear there's a lot of end game content from the people that are there already. Some people got the game. They were able to start playing.
Yes.
I don't know if they could play Monday or like Tuesday if they had retail.
Yeah, I heard some people got in quite early.
But if you had a retail disc, apparently the servers were turned on quite early. Huh. Maybe I don't sound very enthusiastic, but man, this game, I'm loving it. I'm so happy. I'm glad I didn't wait because it would be killing me not being able to play it. Now, I love it so much that I feel like I'm probably going to roll 3 characters by the time October rolls around.
Wow. I'm just wondering if you're going to be Destinied out by the time the PC version comes out.
I will not be Destinied out, let's be honest.
Because, like, that PC version is going to come out, and you're going to have done kind of everything.
Yeah, but then I'm going to get to do it with all my friends.
Yeah.
The first character, like, usually when I roll a character in a game like this, the first one, I play everything solo. I don't want to play with anyone. I don't want anyone talking. I don't want anyone interrupting cutscenes or taking from the experience.
Right.
So maybe after I beat the game, I'll start playing with some people. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up doing the raid. I don't know. I'm all in though, man. I'm right back. Crack cocaine hooked, and I'm loving it. And it's a better game than the first one. So
it sounds like it.
Sorry if I don't sound very enthusiastic, but it's kind of hard with being super sick. But man, it's a fucking dope game.
Good.
And it has a good story. So if you only want to play it for the campaign, it's got a pretty dope campaign so far. I haven't beaten it.
Right.
But
so you don't know how it's going to end. So, I mean, in theory, it could have a shitty ending.
A shitty ending with maybe it ends the way you don't like it, but the storytelling and the cutscenes and the missions have been spectacular so far.
All right.
And the events. It blows the first game away. It's unreal.
I mean, like I said, I mean, there was so much good in the first game, but they really kind of bungled it at the same time. So, I mean...
Yeah, the good was the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
That's like the good part of Destiny, the first one, was the gameplay. The bad parts were the grind.
Totally.
Were the non-existent, nonsensical story.
Yeah.
Well,
like you said, the grind, that end part where, I felt... Like, for me, for example, like, I'd sort of felt like, okay, well... This is all great. Now I've got this other stuff to do, but like I'm probably not going to have the time or the, not necessarily patience, but the time mainly to be able to get a raid together and, do all that kind of stuff, right? So for me, it's like, that's cool that stuff's there for the people that were able to do it. But especially on console, for me, it's a lot harder for me to like, steal my TV away for 4 hours on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? I'm not the only person in my house, and I have essentially one PlayStation. And, if my wife wants to watch TV or anything, well, my PS4 is on that TV. So it's like, I can't really just do that. So then the times that I'm playing, then my friends aren't playing because it's fucking super early in the morning, right? On the weekend. And so the fact that this is coming out on PC right there is going to be a huge bane for any of the end game content for me.
Yeah, I think we played once, maybe, the old Destiny.
Yeah, we played a few times, like just regular stuff when, but it was always like, hey, I'm here for 20 minutes and now I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool. Well, we kind of did that thing. I mean, we did a bit of the end game stuff together. Like, I remember a few times we got together and did, what's it called now? You pay the
Prison of Elders.
You pay the money and I think that's the one. You pay the money
and arenas.
The arenas, yeah.
Yeah.
You pay the money to the dudes and then you jump down and fight wave after wave of guys that show up and then you do it again.
And then get a chest at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what the end game's like. It's going to be interesting. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I doubt that my tune will change. Like, from what I'm hearing, they've improved everything. So they've taken the feedback. So, yeah. Destiny 2. It's a shit. Get it. Yeah. I'm playing on PS4.
We'll see. That FOMO hasn't hit me hard enough yet to warrant buying it twice. So I'm still
I don't think
feeling...
You didn't love the first game as much as I did, so I think you can hold out till October. I don't think you're going to die. Me, on the other hand, I couldn't do it.
You could have done it, but...
No, I couldn't do it.
The FOMO was too great.
So, that's it for what you've been playing. Let's talk about PAX, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things
that we saw.
PAX West. I couldn't come up with anything. Like, God damn it.
Terrible rapper.
I wrote down, well, I didn't come up with that rhyme. That ain't my song. let's see. I'm going to count off how many games that I played.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I know there's more that I played than just that, because I played some freaking indie Mega Booth games, which I totally forgot to write down. God damn it.
Yeah, there's so many games. So many games.
So we started our day with our usual media hour on Friday.
Yep.
Where we decided to go to the Nintendo booth. Had we known that we would have been able to check that stuff out, we might have changed our minds about that and gone to Bethesda to play the VR games, because, man, those had really long lineups.
Oh, did they ever? So they were showing Fallout 4 and Doom in VR.
Yeah.
Those are, I think, the only things really that I wouldn't say that I feel like we missed, but those were the only things I think that I felt interested in trying that I didn't end up trying.
Yeah, they were instantly capped the lines pretty much every morning, so that's too bad. At the same time, it's VR. I think we kind of know what we're getting into with that.
Yeah.
I think that's where we made our decision. So we went to Nintendo, played some Mario Odyssey. I played more Mario Odyssey because I had already played the E3. And I knew I wanted to play it again because I loved it when I played at E3. I was obviously ranting and raving about it a couple months ago. And Dane played it for the first time.
I did.
So, Dane,
I got to play it for the first time. Okay, so I want to preface
we played it
this.
Twice.
Yeah, we played it twice. So the first day, so they were showing two demos.
It was the same demo from E3.
In the kiosk. Yeah, it was essentially the E3 demos. One of them was New Donk City, and the other one was part of, or the level from the desert.
Yeah, I don't know what they call that.
Yeah, it's
desert level.
The frozen desert.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know, but I just know it was a frozen desert, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I was in the desert, and there was water that was frozen, so that was the thing. So I played the New Donk City demo the first day, and there's no combat in that level. So I don't know if there's I'm sure that there's areas in that level that you would go to that would essentially warp you to other areas or something like that, is my guess. But at least in the demo that I had, there was no combat. There wasn't really enemies per se. You could sort of fall off the world type areas, but there wasn't actually any Goombas or anything like that. That being said, it controls really well. It's got a great feel to it. It looks surprisingly gorgeous on the Switch. Nintendo really does know how to make games that work really well with their hardware.
We didn't get to see it in tablet mode, or
no, we were playing it on a TV, which I was okay with. I felt like I was standing a little too close to the TV.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate about E3 and PAX sometimes.
Yeah,
when they have really big monitors in your face, it feels weird. You're like, my eyes.
Yeah, so that being said, it was really cool. There seems like there was a ton of crap to do in that level, that even though there wasn't any combat. I mean, I was riding a scooter. There was tons of moons to find. There was little areas inside so I managed to get inside a building when I was there, and there was a whole nother sort of mini area inside the building with puzzles and platforming stuff to do. I just remember there was actually some enemies within that area as well. So,
there's definitely less enemies in New Donk City.
Yes, big time.
It is more weird side quests. Go find this thing or do this thing.
And I still stand by the fact that it is fucking weird to be Mario running around in a city with like normal ass looking people running around. Like it just feels with normies. Weird. Yeah, because it just I don't know. I don't really know what the deal is with that. So, anyways, that being said, the game felt great.
It is weird. I only played in New Donk City, I may have had a different first impression of the game, which is, I think, what you were going to get at too, right? It's like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't know about this because it's very, like, it's so different. It doesn't feel like any Mario game before it.
No, not at all
whatsoever. He's riding a freaking scooter.
Yeah,
I a scooter,
and I think I like essentially stole one from some dude. It was on the side street. He was having a coffee, and I like fucking ganked his scooter, which felt weird. It was like Grand Theft Mario, kind of, but not all at the same time. So that was kind of weird. But then when we played it the second time, I played the other level, and that shit was amazing. It feels so good. It felt so much like a great level out of a cross between I think for me it felt like a cross between Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy. It controls really well. It had the charm that you expect from a Mario level. There was the enemies. There was a ton of cool stuff to do. You could tell that there was a bunch of secrets and there were that replayability. You know, when you went and you played those Mario, like Mario 64, for example, you'd go back and you'd play. There was a ton of different things to do in each level. So you'd go in there and you'd get the star, but then you go back to the level and you'd get a different star, and then you'd go back to the level and get a different star. That's what this felt like. It felt like I was in that level and I was grabbing a bunch of, in this case, moons, but it felt like there was a bunch of stuff to do and that I would do it and probably get what I needed to move on, but probably go back there because there was a bunch of stuff that I still wanted to see and secrets that I wanted to unlock and all of that. And it felt great. And again, looked great.
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't like about New Donk City is because my time was so limited.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much stuff hiding here and I can't get to it all. And so depending like what you were doing, you might not have had a good demo at that level, to say the truth.
Totally. And I mean, and I knew that I had, even when I played the desert level, I knew that there was so much more to see. Like my demo ended and I was just like, wait, hold on a second. Like, no, don't. That was my feel. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to see more. And I felt like I just missed a ton of stuff, which is a great feeling to have, you know, when you walk away from a demo, because not only are they making you want more, but it gives you a good feeling that there is more levels like that. And if the rest of the game is anything like what I've seen, I'm very excited about the new Mario. And it was definitely one of the best things that I played at PAX this year for sure, and it made me excited.
Because we went back and we played the desert level.
Yeah,
and I played it again, so it would have been my second time. But that game's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait for that game to get here. That's going to be a system seller. It's Mario 64 / Mario Galaxy / Mario Sunshine / everything amazing about Mario.
Yeah,
but bringing back a lot of the classic elements of your favorite ones that they kind of got away with some of the more recent ones. Not that any of the recent Marios have been bad. They've just been different. They've been small, short stages, I feel like, whereas these stages are multi-layered with tons of quests, tons of secrets.
Well, the ones recently
replayability
felt a lot more like an evolution of, say, Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World.
Yeah, except for 3D and still linear.
Yeah, whereas these feel like an evolution of Mario 64 or Super Mario Galaxy. You know, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I don't,
absolutely.
And because we haven't seen essentially this in a long time. It's good to see, and I'm very optimistic that this is going to be what we're going to see a lot more of in the coming months from this game.
Wow. So, when is the end of October?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we might see some more stuff from...
I'm trying to actually not watch too much more of it, to be honest with you. I kind of want it to surprise me as I go.
To be honest, I don't need to see anything more about this game.
I mean, I know I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm sold. It's going to be, I'm pretty sure without a doubt, probably the best Mario game. Them fighting words, but I'm pretty positive.
I mean, we were talking about our favorite Mario game on the way back from PAX. So it'll be interesting to see if this unseats anything.
Yeah. So we also played some Metroid, the Samus Returns.
Samus Returns on the 3DS.
3DS, which is a remake of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy.
Yes.
The old school Game Boy.
Yeah, the original Game Boy game, which is great. It plays really well. It feels like, obviously, the level design and stuff is roughly what that game was. So I mean, if you've recently played through that,
I'm sure they've changed stuff. I can't remember the old game at all because I probably played it 20 years ago, if not more than that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't even know when that came out. Like, we're talking old Game Boy. That's got to be like 90s at the soonest.
Early 90s, yeah.
I'm trying to look it up here.
I think the Game Boy came out in 89, so... Yeah.
Metroid 2... 91. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus, 91, 2001, 2011, 26 years ago.
There you go.
Woohoo!
Makes me feel old.
Yeah. So, yeah, they remade it. It's pretty. I didn't know I wanted a Metroid game. I didn't know I wanted a remake, but I'm pretty damn fine with that. Because it feels like a whole new game. The 3D is fantastic.
Yeah, they've got the aiming really in there, which is great. So you can hold down the right
left
or the left bumper, and you can sort of aim where you want to shoot stuff, where you want to shoot your rocket, or where you want to shoot your gun, which is great for a few different reasons, which is nice. It looks beautiful. It's very pretty. I was playing it with the 3D cranked because I think it looks great and works really well with the 3D stuff.
Awesome. The big thing they added above the remake and cool graphics and nice shooting and all that stuff was they have a melee counter system in this game, and that if you time your counter, basically if enemies charge you, they flash, and Samus can swing her arm cannon and basically stun the enemy.
Yeah, that was helpful a few times.
Which puts them in a weakened state and puts her in a power stance. Basically, you basically just get to shoot free missiles and do extra damage.
Yeah, it's great.
And it feels really good when you get into the rhythm and learn the timing of the enemies. You really start kicking ass because, to be honest, without using it, some of the enemies they're pretty strong. And they charge at you, and they're kind of tough to deal with.
Yeah.
So that counter really helps out.
Yeah, I get the feeling that will definitely come in handy down the road in that game. For sure. But I liked that they were bringing some new stuff to it so that it didn't just feel like a 3D remake of a game that was 26 years old. Those are all things that felt like they were updating the game to make it feel more like 2017 in a good way. And I like what they're doing with it. Like you said, I wasn't really sure if I wanted or was going to purchase a new Metroid game for my 3DS, but I very well may purchase that for my 3DS.
I'm going to without a doubt. I love Metroid. Did I want one on 3DS? Not necessarily. I was hoping it would have been Switch, and maybe I was looking for Metroid Prime, but that's coming in a couple of years, we know. So this is a nice, pleasant surprise in the classic vein of Metroid. So, exactly. that was pretty sweet. From there, we jumped over to Sony. We played some Gran Turismo VR.
Yeah.
Which I had already played at E3, so...
my experience was...
You've probably heard
so lackluster, unfortunately.
You've heard my thoughts.
It was really disappointing because my not even halfway, like probably a quarter of the way through my demo, I don't know if it was something that I hit because we were in like these full experiences where you're sitting in like the cockpit of like a car. There was a wheel, there was pedals. And I don't know if like while I was driving, I just accidentally bumped a button, but I changed the view and it pulled me out of VR so that I was essentially just looking at the screen in front of me.
Oh, so I was like right out of VR mode.
Yeah, like so it essentially just shut off VR mode, and the people at Sony couldn't really figure out how to get it back working properly again.
So you got like ripped off.
Yeah, so I kind of like I said, like my first quarter of the game was actually in VR, and it was cool.
What did you think of that, at least?
I think that that's a game that you're going to almost have to be careful with, because even in the short amount that I played it, there's certain feelings that you expect when you're driving around a racetrack, like G-forces and the way that you get pulled. And when you're going around the corner in VR and you're looking and you're totally immersed like that, but your body's not feeling any of that, it is a really strange feeling. Like I never got sick, or I never at any point felt sick, but it was a weird feeling to expect to feel those feelings and not have them happen. So like here I was going around the corner and your body just instinctively is expecting to feel yourself being pulled, towards the corner and stuff. And then when it doesn't happen, your brain is almost like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? Like I thought we were racing. So I have a sneaky suspicion that they better be careful with that one, because I could see it. Like I said, I didn't get nauseous or feel weird outside of just the expectation of that feeling that wasn't there. But I could definitely see people getting sick probably from that feeling. That being said, I really want to try it again when the game comes out with my VR to see like what it...
You're getting Gran Turismo regardless for the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even if it didn't have a VR version, you were planning to get this game, right?
Oh, yeah. The VR for me is like, if... I feel like it could be so good.
I find the thing, and I talked about it at E3, I think it's a novelty and it's nice that it's there. But the loss in fidelity, and I think some of the systems and realism that you're accustomed to in Gran Turismo aren't there in the VR. The immersion is there. So you're trading immersion for the simulation, which is kind of funny because you think in VR it would be more of a simulation, which it kind of is, but it's a different type of simulation. It's a simulation that you're in the car, whereas Gran Turismo is a very technical simulation of driving a car and how it reacts, right?
No,
guys learn courses with this game in real life and then jump in a car. I think you're onto
something there, actually. I think... Yeah, like I said, I think the VR is going to be cool, and I'm looking forward to messing around with it when the game comes out.
I'll mess around with it when the game comes out.
But as to how much I'll actually play in VR, I don't know. That's hard to say.
It'll be the demo I show my friends who don't want to play Star Wars or Super Hot.
It's the demo that I probably won't show anybody because I'm afraid that they're going to get sick in VR, and I don't want their first experience to be them vomiting.
So we went from that to Bravo Team, which is co-op from Supermassive Games, I think it is.
I did not know that I wanted Bravo Team.
It's the guys who made Until Dawn, and then the next game we'll talk about after this, Hidden Agenda. And they also, what was the third game they made? They made another game too. They had, The Impatient, but I didn't play that.
I didn't play that one either. No.
I played it at E3, but I didn't bother playing it at PAX again. So when I talked about it at E3, I told you how cool it was and that it was, Time Crisis VR shooter. and I thought it was cool. What did you think?
I thought it was awesome.
It was awesome, isn't it?
Playing, like you and I were like, we played it together this time around, so we were a squad of 2. And yeah, like he said, it's kind of like, I don't know if like it's kind of like Time Crisis, but you have more control. It's not just like Time Crisis where like your character moves to a point, you step up, you shoot, and then everybody's dead. So then you just move up automatically. Like this one,
you totally control the motion.
You control like when you're going to move up. You control where you're going to move to.
It's more like Gears of War, I guess. It's like pop and...
Yeah, it's like a cover-based shooter in VR. Done really well. Like you're not... You maybe aren't... Well, you're definitely not. You're not controlling every single movement, but the fact...
Yeah, you're snapping to cover in the environment.
But I think that actually helps people not get ill, right? Mm-hmm. So that you move to cover, and then it's up to you to duck behind that cover, to pop out of that cover, to reload your weapon, to do kind of everything that you need to do while you're there. And then of course, like the whole time we're communicating via voice, which was super cool because we could tell each other like, "Hey, I'm reloading," or "Hey, I'm going to go up over here."
You could actually see each other's mouths move on our characters.
That was actually really awesome. Yeah. But no, I thought it was fantastic. Like the only thing that concerns me is, and I know when we talked to them, they said that this was going to be, it's going to be a game that if you're not playing it co-op with another human being, that there would essentially be AI teammates that would play that role. But I feel like if you only ever play this with AI teammates, that you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a game that it has so much potential for people that have VR and have friends that have VR, but it just kind of worries me that
it's definitely
so many people I feel like are going to miss out on the best part of this game.
I think it's going to be a really good, like you said, co-op game. But even the single player, the thing I like about it, which sucked at PAX, like I didn't have problems at E3, but for whatever reason at PAX, my gun kept wigging out. And the girl from Supermassive, she was one of the devs, or she worked there at least, who was doing the demo. She was saying that they were getting some Bluetooth interference.
Oh, interesting.
Which I did not get at E3, so it was super solid for me at E3.
Right.
My gun wigged out a bit during this demo, but...
I do want to also mention, we were using the guns,
aim controller.
The PlayStation aim controller, which came out attached with Farpoint. Which
this game makes me want to go back and find Farpoint.
That's actually what I was thinking as well.
Because it's really cool when you're aiming. Like, not only is it cover-based shooter, you have the gun in your hands, and you're aiming down sight. You're looking through the holographic sight.
And it actually like pops up like a sight, like you're looking down it when you lift the gun up really to your eye.
You can shoot the gun sideways, like gangster style, if you want, but like you can see your enemy's head through the sight and headshot.
Yeah, well, it's cool.
Feels really good
because like when you lift it up towards your like headset, it essentially looks down the sight, and you get that. It feels like in Call of Duty when you aim down the sight feel, right? But instead of hitting a button to do that, you're actually just holding it up to you. It feels super great. And now it's hilarious because I totally walked out of that thinking like, I wonder if any of my local stores have Farpoint with the aim controller, because if they're going to be putting that aim controller in other things, like I would honestly love to get a hold of one.
I'm sure there'll be a bundle for this game as well. That was a good demo. I thought you would have liked it. I really liked it at E3. I remembered.
Honestly, one of the best VR demos that we did this show, to be honest with you.
And it's got a full campaign, so it's not, we're starting to...
They weren't saying how long or short it was, but they did say it was a full campaign.
We're starting to see our campaign games in VR. It's coming.
Yeah.
From that, we jumped into Hidden Agenda.
Well, do you want to talk about... You played some Ni no Kuni too.
Yeah, I did that after, and you played Knack.
Okay. Yeah, we played Hidden Agenda.
Let's talk about Hidden Agenda, because we played that together.
That was pretty cool.
Actually, we all played that. Hidden Agenda, I believe it's Supermassive again. It's one of those, what do they call that freaking type of game?
I want to say Playlink game.
I think
where
that's
your phones connect to the PlayStation 4.
I think that
you download the app.
Yeah,
and then your phone
download
connects.
the app on your phone. Your phone connects to the PS4. You all control your own choices.
Essentially your phone is your controller for the duration of the game.
Yeah, it's a crime thriller where you have all kinds of choices, and it's kind of like a full motion video, but it's not. It's like all engine 3D.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? It felt like playing a Quantic Dream game, but with a group of people.
Yes,
in some
absolutely.
ways.
That's absolutely what it is. The player, it says here on the wiki, the player actually takes control of the homicide detective and district attorney. And you're involved in the case of a serial killer known as the Trapper, which is like what we started. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's we played a small section of the game. We didn't play the whole game. No. But it's like we played like
campaign. A chapter or whatever it was. Like, and the guy say how many chapters there were.
The guy said there was other stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to explain. Like, during the scenarios in the game, certain stuff would happen. Like, at the start of the game, we're outside of a building. These two cops it's like, do you go in through the front door? Or
do you burst in the front door, or do you, like, slink around the back and check it out?
And then basically everyone chooses, and you have to have a majority vote for the game to move forward. I don't know at this point if anyone had a hidden agenda. One person gets a hidden agenda. I don't know if it goes from chapter to... I don't think the first section had an agenda. I think the second one we did had one.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. And you have these trump cards. I don't know if that's what they're called. But anyway, everyone has to go majority vote. We all voted to go in the back
Slink
door
around the back door cautiously.
So then, it moves along. We find some weirdo with a lady chained up to a bed, and she's screaming, he's going to kill me. And, the next choice is like, are you aggressive or docile or whatever?
Do you try to talk him off the ledge, or do you shoot him?
And again, we make our choices, and someone at any point can play a trump card.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to choose what happens. Of course, someone else could play a trump card,
which trumps that trump card. And somebody else can play a trump card that'll trump the trump card, and so on and so forth till nobody has any trump cards. And then somebody at the end can use a trump card to decide what the hell they want to actually happen.
Which happened to us, but not at that particular point.
Exactly. But it was
Sorry.
Fun.
My throat's just killing me right now. I just need a sec.
And today we've gotten rid of Rico. His throat has killed him. He's probably hacking up a lung.
Yeah, that had serious. Just
I take it from somebody who had to share a hotel room with him. That sounds gross. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I wasn't hacking and coughing when we were down there. Oh, that was me working there. That was because the smoke was irritating my throat. I wasn't sick.
Sounded like a smoker, man.
The forest fire smokes have been irritating my throat like crazy.
Yeah, it's really bad here.
I
where
do
we
feel
live right
like
now.
I'm a freaking chain smoker because of it.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So yeah, we played a match of that. I can't describe every single scene that happened, but it seemed pretty fun.
It seems super cool.
It's a different take on a party game. They released That's You, which is more of a silly one, like which one of your friends is most likely to be naked at the end of a party, and everyone votes, and you all laugh at everyone's answers because you're making fun of each other and so forth. That game was free. I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played that one either.
God damn it.
That one came out a few weeks ago, right, for PS4?
Yeah.
So I haven't played that one either.
This one seems like it'll be pretty cool for a different type of party game.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like you're playing an escape room together or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're kind of right. Like I don't know. I was impressed. I thought it felt really fun. And I don't know how much, like, there's obviously some replay value there because you want to see what the other stories are and what the other outcomes are. But I don't know how many times you could kind of replay it before you'd sort of seen every combination of it that actually meant something. But nonetheless, like, it felt really cool and, like, something that I would definitely play through at least a few times with some friends.
Really boils down to what the cost is going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
If it's not really expensive, it definitely probably worth checking out.
If it's like $15-$20, hell yeah. If it's 40, I might get it on the sale.
$40 might be worth it, but a full price game, I don't know, might be asking a little much.
Yeah,
but it was fun. We had fun.
Yeah, we did.
We played such a short segment, just like a appetizer almost.
Yeah, and I feel like all of us that were playing it, we all seemed to walk away going like, that was really cool, which is a good feeling. So
yeah, absolutely. We were like, oh, I want to play more. Like,
yeah, where does the story go? What's happening?
And totally. It's really like top notch. Like,
oh, it's gorgeous.
The voice acting, the motion capture, whatever you want to call it. Like, it is really polished.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like a Quantic Dreams game. Like, it is beautiful like that. So
you went and played NAC 2.
I did. I played the NAC 2 demo.
You played co-op?
I played it co-op with one of the devs, because nobody else was sort of... I started playing and he kind of jumped in, which is good because I'd heard really good things. I heard that it was kind of the way to play that game. It's interesting. I'm really curious to see, like, I think that they've done a lot of things much better. I played a level that had a fair mix of... It felt like there was a lot less, and of course the level that I was playing was a little bit more geared towards the platforming. So he'd kind of mentioned, like, the other level was geared a little heavier towards combat, whereas this one was a little bit more of the platforming exploration with some combat.
You can do co-op in the demo that you can download right now, so I wonder if it's the same.
It probably is.
I'd assume it probably is by the sounds of what he said.
Yeah, I mean the full game is out now, so you know, if you played the demo and you thought it was pretty rad.
Yeah, it came out yesterday, right?
Yeah. So I mean that game's out now. I was honestly impressed. Like, it felt, I think, more of what the first game should have been. You can increase or decrease in size at will. So you could, like, hit a button and suddenly, like, lose a whole bunch of your, I guess, chips, if you will, to make yourself smaller. So there was tons of areas where you'd need to make yourself smaller to either get through something or to go in an area where obviously being big wouldn't let you. And then, of course, when you got into combat, you wanted to be big again because that helps you to fight. The bigger you are and sort of the stronger you hit and the more, you know, badass you are. And also the combat, I think, felt better. Like, the first game had a very, in some strange way, deep combat system that was quite difficult. Which for a game of that type, I didn't really feel like it worked for that game. This feels a lot more like they thought, okay, how do we want to make this work? What's the best way to make this work? And they did that. And I think it's cool. I think it's a great, you know, if you're looking, like, there was, after I finished playing, the media hour had finished. And there was a couple of kids that came up and started playing it right after me. And they were both totally enamored with it. They loved it. They were just like, oh my God, this is great. Which is, I think, what the first game wanted to do, but just due to its difficulty and stuff, it couldn't do. So I think that this is a much better... I think this is just a much better game than the first one was.
Yeah. Is it for me? I don't think so.
I think, honestly, the hardest thing about this is, I think that if you're a father or a mother and you're looking for something for younger kids, I'm not saying like young as in like 5 or 6, but like, 7, 8, maybe even 9 or 10 area type, maybe even a little bit older, but that kind of, age area. I don't think that there is a ton of stuff coming out for that age range this fall. So that might work out in their favor with NAC 2. For somebody who's like you and I, where we're, older and we play everything that's not rated, E or G, there is a ton of stuff coming out. And I think that that's actually going to be the hardest thing, is just like in a year like the one that we've had with all of these incredible games coming out. Now we're hitting the fall where we also have a ton more of what could potentially be incredible games. We have Destiny 2 coming out. We have Super Mario coming out. I feel like it could kind of get forgotten about. But again, that's for somebody like me. And I don't think that I'm necessarily the person that they were building that game for. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's a family friendly platformer. It's totally competent. It's like a 7 out of 10.
A lot more competent than the first one. That first game looked like what you were hoping it was going to be, and then you actually started playing it and you realize like, holy shit, this game's actually really hard and not a great fit for kids like that because it was too difficult. So this, I think, kind of fixes that a bit, and I think that especially with the co-op, you can also get it for if you have 2 kids, they can play it together, or if you wanted to play it with them, then it gives you that possibility as well, which I think is really good. So, and maybe you don't have a Switch and you're not planning on, if you don't have a Switch, then this could kind of be your Super Mario, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that they're even remotely the same. I'm just saying that if you don't own a Switch and you're looking for that type of game, then, it would be this one, at least on the PS4.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah.
Like I said.
No, it is definitely competent platformer.
So.
Family friendly.
Yeah.
While you were playing that, I played Ni no Kuni 2. I'm pretty excited for this game. I love the old game.
It's so pretty. I was watching you finish up on it, and it's really pretty.
Anime come to life. It's quite different. It's a big departure from the first game. The first game basically had you... It was almost like a Pokemon game where you captured enemies and they fought for you or alongside your character. In this one, the characters in your party, you actually do all the fighting.
Oh.
It is real time. You're dodging, you're casting spells, doing combos, hitting enemies in their back or weaknesses,
right,
using ranged attacks, building up power for your big attacks. I didn't know how it played at first, like from the videos and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah.
Whenever there's an RPG and you're controlling the camera, you don't control the other characters. They seem to all be on autopilot, but you could very well control them, and I just don't know, or the demo I was in didn't have that. But I like the combat. I figured it out very quickly. It felt really good. It wasn't tedious. It was fast, and it felt awesome pulling off the big spells or the charged up attacks on your enemies. And like I said, it's beautiful. It's literally an anime come to life.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It has an overworld where your characters are like little chibi characters. If you don't know what that is, look it up, or I'll explain. It's like little short, fat Japanese style characters,
right,
on the overworld, and you can see the enemies and you can avoid them if you don't want to fight them, or obviously if you walk into them, it initiates combat. I did not finish the demo. I got to the big ass boss and then the demo timed out. I had concerns for this game when I had first seen it because I really liked that Pokemon-esque capturing.
Right, you like that aspect of the first game?
But at the same time, getting enemies and leveling, capturing monsters and leveling them up in the first game, I remember there was a point in the game where you really had to grind, and it did get a little tedious near the end.
Yeah.
I did beat the first game. But yeah, I remember there was a point where it's like, ugh, you know, trying to get like the best monster or level them up or finding a good place to level them up, right? So,
right.
So I had concerns when I saw this one because I'm like, well, it's different. I don't know. I like it. I like the combat system. It felt really good. I'm on board. I'm excited. Obviously, it was
sweet.
Short. It was a short 10-minute demo, but as a Ni no Kuni fan, it definitely seems like this game is not going to disappoint. It's, you know, a little evolution, a little more of the same, but man, the first game was fantastic. So this one played and looked pretty damn promising.
Awesome.
So that's totally on my radar as well now.
Fantastic.
I can't remember what happened in between that. I think we might have gone to the indie booth and done a lap.
Yeah, we took a quick lap around the indie booth.
You must have been playing something because I went over to the Scuff Gaming booth. And they make controllers. They make variations of basically, they make their own Elite style controllers for PlayStation and Xbox.
Oh, right. Yes. I swung through there and we looked at them after.
Yeah, I was showing them to you after I went there because I'm like, these are cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
They have them with the triggers on the back, kind of like the Xbox One Elite controller. And they have all kinds of levels of customization, from finishes to artwork to form factor. Like I said, they have their own form factor PS4 and Xbox One controllers, but they also modify or license. They license the first party bodies of controllers for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
So they actually feel good.
They feel exactly like you if you were to go buy a PS4 or Xbox One first party controller, but they have the additional paddles on the back. So those ones only have 2 paddles, which seems more than enough for me. I think the 4 paddles is a little excessive. I know most people who have Elite controllers, they don't even play with them. It has the half trigger, the hair trigger stop, so you can adjust the trigger stop on your R2, L2 on both controllers.
Right.
Those ones felt really good. I like those ones. So for, you know, when I had that question, it's like, well, where's PS4's Elite controller? Well, it doesn't exist, but this is the closest thing to it because it feels like a first-party controller and you've got those paddles. I think I'm going to get one of these. And the other thing that they do differently than the Elite controller, all the stuff like snaps in, like it twists in, snaps in, and you can take everything apart. You can replace everything from sticks to buttons and whatnot, but it's not magnet. The Elite controller, people have been complaining after prolonged use and age that some of the shit just flies off in the heat of battle.
Right.
It's just the sticks are just magnets.
Yeah, I can see how that would be bad.
Whereas these ones are like, they like have a key, a locking key, and you snap the controllers in, and they felt really good. I didn't really care for their unique form factor. They were totally comfortable, but I'm super biased to the first party fit and finish and feel. But those paddles, they'd be pretty handy. You know, you hit them with your fingers that are wrapped underneath. You don't have to do that freaking claw. I think I'm going to check one of these out. If you're curious, definitely have a look on their website and you'll see what I mean in that they're a little less expensive.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, they're out of the US somewhere.
Yeah, they're in the States. We were talking to the girl. She actually
Georgia, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar.
Atlanta.
Actually, she emailed me already, so I just haven't had a chance to get back to her, but that was cool. Like, I didn't know that existed. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for PS4, because we don't have an Elite controller. If they had one, first party one, I would have got it already, but.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of gone the whole idea with Sony seems to be that they're like, well, why don't we license the tech out and other people can make Elite controllers for us, but we're not actually going to make one ourselves. Seems to be their thoughts on it so far, at least.
So we went to Indie Mega Booth. So here are... Actually, this wasn't Indie Mega Booth. Hob was in the Sony booth. We didn't play that, but we played it last year. It's looking good.
I talked to the guy I was going to play it again, and it was the same demo that I played last year.
Oh, so
which is actually why I didn't.
They're in the home stretch. I believe it comes out at the end of September. So I also didn't play it because it was kind of a known quantity, but that's one to keep an eye out for. It's a Zelda-esque 3/4 view, almost not quite top-down action adventure game, but like kind of in that vein of the
cool game
Link to the Past, and it's very stylish, very, very pretty.
Yeah.
That comes out at the end of September. So we went to the Indie Mega Booth, and there, I didn't play Dead Cells, but I spoke to the dev of Dead Cells, and I think we've talked about it in the past because it's in early access right now.
It is.
It's basically a Metroidvania, very stylized. I guess I would say 16-bit style graphics, but they're beyond 16-bit graphics. It's a roguelike Metroidvania. They're still a ways out. He says the game's maybe 70%, being generous, completed.
Oh wow!
It's in early access on Steam. I think it's around $20 plus or minus.
Yeah, I've seen it on Steam. And I've seen some people really. Like, get into it.
When it came out, everyone was going crazy for it. That game you should keep an eye out for. I haven't picked it up yet just because I haven't had a chance, but it's totally on my radar. It looked awesome. It was cool talking to the dev too. I think he's French. He had a very, very heavy accent.
It wouldn't surprise me.
So, games that we saw in the indie booth. Chasm was there again. Looks fantastic. Another Metroidvania. More in the vein of a Castlevania Symphony of the Night style.
I felt that this year, sort of the hot thing. I felt like there was 3 sort of hot things that it seemed like I saw a lot of games of. One of those was fucking collective card games.
Oh, there's tons of card games.
Like, I cannot believe how many freaking card games there are now that are either coming out or out that people are trying to get in on. Between the Bethesda card game, the Smite card game, the one that Valve just announced, like, there was a ton of card games, and those are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head, but I know that there was a bunch more on the show floor. The whole 16-bit style Metroidvania games.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
A ton of those, which I'm okay with right now, at least, because to be fair, we weren't really getting any of those for a very long time. So now we're getting a ton of them.
Yeah, we're going to get our fill.
So ask me in another year and I'll probably be sick of them. But at least right now, I'm okay with it.
At least they're not zombie Metroidvania 16-bit games.
Thank you. And the other thing that I thought there felt like a lot of was like turn-based, almost tactical style strategy.
Oh yeah.
Some of them were like strategy, some of them were more RPG, but that whole sort of 3/4 view, top-down, turn-based games, there was a surprising amount of those as well. Those were like the 3 things that I felt were, quote unquote hot this year that, clearly that's what people think people want. So
yeah, people like them.
Yeah.
We played, did you play? I can't remember. Did you play 9 Parchments with me?
Yep.
That was the
wizard
Magic-esque.
Yeah.
Combine cross your beams, kill each other. Different elements, different
Team
wands,
kill is
different wizards seem to determine what spells or abilities you had. That seemed all right.
That seemed really fun, especially like in a local co-op setting, like we were playing it, where you can obviously have some shenanigans where you're accidentally killing each other and
it was
actually
totally
killing each other. It seemed very Magica, but instead of having to essentially cast every spell using your flick of your wand or a mix of this and that. It was kind of, you would select the spell that you wanted and then you'd hit the button and it would do it. And then, yeah, like you said, you could, if you both use the beam at the same time, then you would have like a bigger, stronger beam that would attack the enemies. Also, if you did obviously like a fire and ice beam, then it would kind of almost weaken the beam. So you had to be smart about what combos you were using, which was cool. Yeah, it seemed fun. I don't know. It felt very Magicka, but again, that's not a bad thing. Because I actually, in some ways, liked it better than Magicka, just because there was certain aspects of Magicka that I had a hard time with myself. I liked the game a lot. Some of the stuff that it just didn't really work for me very well. I just had a hard time getting into it. But yeah, I feel like this would be a little bit easier to get into and to stick with.
It was definitely a little easier than Magicka. Magicka was quite difficult, the system they had for combining spells.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one that I thought was kind of neat was Mother Gunship.
Yeah, you played that.
I didn't play it. I was speaking with the dev and watched it for a really long time.
Okay.
It's a bullet hell first-person shooter with roguelike elements, and you basically craft your gun. It's got a super modular crafting system.
I remember seeing this.
Where you make some insane guns, and there's giant bosses, and there's roguelike elements to the game. It looked really cool. Coming out for console and PC. I did not play it, but it looked super polished as hell, and it looked really cool. So that's another indie one that joined my watch this list. Tiny Metal is there.
I'm super curious about.
They sent me a build of it, and it is basically a spiritual successor to Advance Wars. We haven't had an Advance Wars in a really long time.
And they were pretty much saying that right in their booth.
Oh yeah, they were yelling it out in the booth.
Hey,
because Advance Wars is fantastic. Wars? It looks really sweet. It's very polished. I haven't played it yet. I have the build, so I'll talk about it in the future. But that was one of the ones that in the indie booth that stood out to me.
I checked my email after, and I've also got a build of that.
Way of the Passive Fist. We watched for a little bit.
That looks cool.
It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, except in that your character does not necessarily strike first. He blocks attacks to charge up his meter, and then he essentially one-punches enemies. So it's all about dodging and countering, and then retaliating. You never attack first.
I thought it was cool. It looked really neat.
Super stylized. It almost looks like Mad Max, like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, kind of like a similar style universe, almost like with the enemies and things like that.
And again, like I said, you don't attack first. You defend, and then combo, build up a combo, and then counter. It almost looked like a rhythm action game.
Yeah, it kind of had a rhythm game.
Except for it wasn't a music game. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
And then another one I watched for a bit was Keyboard Sports, where you control the little guy on screen, and basically the whole keyboard is your controller. Right. And different stuff would be happening on the screen, like lasers would be going off, or the ground would be falling away, and you basically had to move your character around the environment using the keyboard. It looked
interesting.
Really neat.
Okay.
I didn't play it, but it looked super polished. I could tell it looked like a fun little game. I thought that was super unique in that it was such an interesting way to play the game. Like your little dude is on the keyboard, and it's not even just he's on the keyboard. It's like he's skiing down a hill, and the keyboard is the width of the mountain, and depending on what key you press, that's where he moves.
Okay.
So, like spacebar, I'll put you in the middle of the screen. If you hit the enter key, he'll move over to the enter key spot, or like keys disappear, and there's lava there, or, you're going down the road and there's cars coming, and it was pretty hilarious. Or you're playing like a twin stick shooter using the keys.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it was really neat. It looked really cool. Super goofy.
Sweet.
I thought that looked pretty neat. I went by Shovel Knight booth to check out the new Shovel Knight amiibos that they announced. There's a new 3-pack, Plague Knight, King Knight, and I can't remember the other one now. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not even halfway through my notes here.
We may have to have podcast for PAX Part 2.
Yeah, after Indie Mega Booth, I think we ended out with Battle Chasers that first day.
Yeah, we did.
And then the next day was Ubisoft, The Crew 2, Far Cry 5, and Assassin's Creed Origins. And then we went and played Dishonored, the new expansion, or standalone. I don't even know what the hell it is now. No one was there. We just played it, so we didn't have anyone to answer our questions.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, the new Colossus, The Evil Within 2. We played Skyrim on Switch, which was not on the show floor, and I don't think it was even at E3. Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Right.
Then I played some more VR games. I played Spark on PlayStation VR. We played Sprint Vector on Vive. And then I played
so much stuff.
And then I played some of the Dragon Ball Z fighting game as well. So yeah, those are some big ones.
Yeah, we played some big stuff. Well, let's talk about Battle Chasers. We can at least finish off our Friday.
Let's finish off with Battle Chasers, and then we'll go into the other stuff. I think we'll save it for next show.
Yeah.
Because with Destiny now, I don't think there's going to be a lot. I think this is going to be a pretty quiet news week as well. We're coming up to Tokyo Game Show and Paris Games Week.
Right.
So I don't think there's going to be a lot of news until that happens, and I think that's still a couple weeks away.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
I played Battle Chasers. This is the first time I played Battle Chasers.
Yeah, what'd you think? So, I mean, I played it last year, and
I really liked it, but I feel like the moving around the dungeon is a little slow. Now, I don't know if I was missing a run button or something. It was enough to like, oh, this game sucks, but I just found like going around the dungeon was really slow. I do like the combat. I do like building up your meter to pull off the super moves. It's definitely a more difficult turn-based RPG. It is not a cakewalk.
I think part of it too is like he even said, you're several hours. This is, between 5 and 7 hours into the game. You're walking into it completely blind, not having a chance.
I'm not used to all the systems up until that point.
So you're just kind of jumping in with all these systems, right? So that's going to make it a little more difficult. But I definitely agree that there is a ton of depth to their systems. Oh, yeah.
It's
almost to the point where, like, when you're looking at it initially, you're like, damn, son,
it's
like, holy
daunting.
shit.
Yeah, because I think he said it was like the 6th dungeon or something. So
I think he said that was the 3rd one, and
was
there's
the 3rd?
I think 7 in the game or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
then he was talking about a different demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played for quite a bit. It's a beautiful game. It's super solid. It's super polished. I'm gonna pick it up without a doubt.
I'm actually curious. I swear there was a run button. I
probably missed it.
I've got a beta code for it, so
for a PC.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then you need to download that beta and
hell yeah, I do.
Figure that shit out.
I know. That was kind of what I was getting at.
That game is beautiful. That game looks so good every time we see it.
Yeah, it is easily, from a sheer aesthetic perspective, it is probably my favorite looking game.
I know you're super pumped for it.
So,
what else happened, man? Man, there's so much stuff that happened. We had a giant bomb panel. We went out a bunch. You went to a party.
Yeah.
You know what's annoying? I come back and I check my... I don't... For whatever reason, I don't always check my spam folder.
Right.
I had like party invites in my spam folder.
Good job, Rick. Way to go.
Yeah, for Friday night and Saturday night.
Wow.
How annoying is that? Bum, 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 bum.
Well, we'll know for next year.
Oh, before we go, I didn't talk about the Destiny event.
What Destiny event?
The Destiny experience when they took over the Paramount Theater.
Oh,
in downtown Seattle.
You mean the lineup for the merch that was 3 hours long?
Yeah. So they had panels, which we didn't take part in because it just didn't gel with our schedule. They were there 3 days. They only had panels on Friday and Saturday talking about the game devs, yada yada. Obviously, it would have been cool to go to that, but I don't know if I didn't see any news stories that they showed anything new, especially considering the game was so close to being released. It's out now, but they wanted to spoil stuff. Basically, they had Crucible, and then they had PC playable, just stuff from the demo.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you don't have a PC and you want to see how amazing the game looks on PC, that makes sense, but considering how much I played the beta and whatnot, I couldn't help but be a little disappointed. They did have some cool merch. Excuse me, my voice is like dying there. Like you said,
the lineup was
insane. Like 2 or 3 hours long to buy shit that you could just buy on the Bungie store.
It was so crazy.
So funny story.
Mm-hmm.
We went home back to our hotel, and I'm like, I'm going to go check the store. Of course, everything's out of stock on the store.
Of course.
So I just set up some notifications. I'm like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Remind me when this shit's in, because I kind of wanted it, but I didn't also
want to wait 3 hours.
I didn't want to wait 3 hours to get that shit.
Yeah.
Guess what happens in my inbox on Tuesday?
You get a whole bunch of notifications saying,
I got a bunch of notifications. Stock. Everything was stock. I ordered it online. It was cheaper than it was at the convention. And I didn't have to wait in line.
A bunch of it, you probably got free shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ordered it all online, and that was my story. And it was cool. I was a little disappointed because I was expecting new stuff to be there. I did get a shitload of Rockstar with DLC codes.
Yeah, so those worked out well for you so far in your playing?
I've been bouncing off the walls. Well, on their website, for Destiny 2, if you get Rockstar, I haven't seen any cans in Canada yet. Not that I've been looking.
You've probably been looking ever since we crossed the border. You're like, oh my God, where? When?
So you can redeem up to 3 codes a week. And 1 blue one, which is like a bonus. So essentially 4 if you get the blue. So they're forcing you to buy any combination of drink.
Right.
And the blue one gives you a bonus.
Ooh.
And it also enters you in daily prizes to win PS4 Pros, Destiny Collector's Edition. And they made a bunch of custom motorcycles, which they actually had on display at the show.
Right.
So you could potentially win a freaking motorbike.
Which I can turn around and sell.
So I've promptly maxed out my codes for week 1. And I may or may not be looking for more blue cans with the Destiny shit on it.
Really?
Yeah. And I redeemed my Pop-Tarts to get my I bought Pop-Tarts at Target down there to get another code, which apparently is XP boost and exclusive Sparrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why you're looking for the Pop-Tarts. Man, there's a guy at work that I've nicknamed him Pop-Tart because he eats Pop-Tarts all the time. I'll just have to tell him to pick some up so he can give me the codes.
Yeah, we don't have Target here, so the Target one, you get the XP boost with every box, but then you get the Sparrow, but only at Target. So if anyone out there is in the States and you have Destiny Pop-Tart box and you don't need that code, feel free to rifle it our way and we can find a good home for it. I had to submit my receipt and a picture of the box, and I got an email from them.
Oh, wow.
they're like, it's so popular. It's going to be like 48 to 72 hours, but it says no mention of the Sparrow. It only says the XP boost.
Oh, okay.
So I have a feeling I'm not going to get I have a feeling I'm not going to get a Sparrow code. I don't know. I'm going to have to email and flip the table, but they're going to send me something because they got my thing and they responded.
Fair enough, man.
But because they're so busy, it's going to be a little while. So
it's almost like they just launched a game or something.
Yeah, whatever. The thing is, also, what was I going to say? With Destiny 2, you can't redeem any of this stuff until you hit level 20.
Wait, so you can't redeem this stuff, and then when you hit level 20, you get it?
Yeah, you can't really redeem any of these stuff until you hit max level. Like your exotic pre-order, the loot codes from the rock stars, and I assume the Sparrow, you won't receive it until you hit level 20.
Right, but you can still redeem it in game.
Oh yeah, you can redeem the stuff, and it's on your Bungie account and whatnot.
That's what I cared about, because the codes expire. So,
and then you can even choose what system, like PS4 or PC. So,
that's good.
Later on you won't get it again in PC if you obviously use it now, but I can choose to start redeeming stuff for PC, say in October.
Right. Well, that's good because I've got a bunch of tabs that I've got from PAX that now I can use, but I wanted to make sure that I could redeem them for PC.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
So that's cool.
It was an awesome show. We're going to save the rest of the stuff for next week. Because we easily have a good hour and a half of talking to do with.
Oh, yeah. We've only covered day one.
And I don't want to kill everyone. And I guess before we ended out, we met Brian, one of our listeners. That was awesome. He's a totally cool dude.
Super cool.
Came and hung out with us on the show. That was awesome. We went out for lunch, and then we just roamed around the show floor. That was sweet.
Super dope. Love to do it with more of our listeners as well.
But he actually had a quick question. This is what I'm going to end the show out with. He asked us what we thought of Sony's little, basically fast pass system.
So and for anybody who doesn't know,
Nintendo had a similar system, but theirs wasn't as advanced.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, Sony has an app that you can download. It's like the PlayStation Experience app. And when you go to a con, they essentially take appointments via the app. So in the morning, they open it up for appointments, and you can select a time, and you can essentially book an appointment to come back to try out certain things. So they had a bunch of stuff in their booth that was open to anybody. But there was a few things like the VR stuff and the Gran Turismo 6, because they had the whole full vehicle stuff set up there. So with the wheel and the whole cockpit, and it felt, like that. So if you wanted to do any of those, you had to sign up for a slot using the app. And they also did have a thing where they did have a small queue line so that if somebody missed their app appointment, they would pull from the queue line.
Yeah, because you had a check-in window, and if you weren't there,
then they would essentially give it to somebody else.
But I think they also had let regular people in. Like you said, it was a smaller lineup.
Now, my thought on this is, I think it's really cool because otherwise what ends up happening is everybody rushes in, they get in these lines, and then they just cap the line anyways 10 minutes after the show ends because, hey, look, we have enough people standing in this line to cover the entire rest of the day. So at least this way, they're saying hey, we're going to have a ton of people. This is your way of if you get an appointment, then we know how long each one of these demos is going to last for, so we can set up the appointments all day, and at least you can go and wander around and go check out other stuff or stand in a different line.
Go in the stuff that has quick lines.
Yeah, and at least use your day instead of just sitting there waiting for a lineup to go. So I think it's a really cool thing. The only thing that I think kind of is a bit of a downside is the app relies on data. and trying to access data in a place where there's 20,000 other people can be a bit of a challenge on your cell phone sometimes.
I used the app at E3.
Right.
With no issues, and I got to see everything.
Right. And you can only fast pass essentially once a day. So if you wanted...
Well, at PAX, that's how they did it. But at E3, you could do multiples.
Okay.
But they had 3 windows. They had like a morning, midday, and late day.
Right.
And you can only choose one thing in the morning, and then there would be a next time where you can't pick a time until 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then there would be another opportunity you can't pick a time until 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So it made it fair for that, and everyone, it wasn't that you got there first, that you were physically closer, or that you ran there, or you got in a back door. Everyone was making the same mad rush at the same time, though be it online with the weakness of being data, like you were saying.
Yeah.
My experience, I thought it was awesome. Like, I got to see everything in the Sony booth with no appointments, and it was the same as anyone else, and you just show up and you play, and it worked out really good. I don't know how people's experience at PAX was. My internet sucked at PAX. At least I didn't have to do that this year, so...
that's, I guess, the thing for me is like, I have sort of thoughts on it, but ultimately, I didn't need to rely on it either to see everything that I needed, because we were able to sort of see what we wanted to that first morning.
Tail end of the media area. There was a lot less... reliability, or less of that app at PAX, it seemed, for people. A lot of people complaining. So that sucks. But when it works, it really works. Nintendo's thing was kind of janky, because all Nintendo's was rush the booth.
Right.
Scan your stupid phone, and they tell you time to come back. Not as convenient. It doesn't have the downfall of bad data. Well, it still relies on data, because you have to log into your My Nintendo account, but I guess that has a physical line, and they're going to let you fuck around with it, and people are going to be behind you, so you're not going to lose out, and that it's a mad rush race to getting in the door.
Right. But so I mean, that's ultimately what would happen, right? Is that everybody would rush that booth first thing.
Well, that's how it was. Just like the Bethesda thing. If you weren't there first or had a trick to get there right away, the line was capped within 5 minutes. So you don't get to see something if it was something you want to see. Honestly, I really think a lot of these big booths should have a system like this. You got your standby lineup, which is half the people are standby and half the people are fast pass people. Whether there's a unified app or each guy has their own app, I almost feel like this should almost be a convention app.
Yeah,
but
it's not a terrible way to go.
But then it would be like one thing. I think it's when it works, I think it's an excellent system. Cause it makes it fair for everyone. Whereas the mad dash to go see that super 4-hour lineup game and or not seen it all, I'd rather just have it be fair and everyone's on the internet in your hotel room before you even go to the convention center on Wi-Fi, and you just have a fair shot and you feel like you had a chance at least.
Totally.
Whereas when you show up at the booth and the line's capped, it's like, well, fuck, you don't get to see it. And there was a lot of games like that the lines were capped, and it's just like, no, you're not going to see it.
Well, and it happens so quick after like the show opens, because people they have that thing that they're like, okay, I have to see this, and they rush it, and and there's a ton of people there. So if everybody wants to go check out the Bethesda VR thing,
good luck.
And
they have like 8
real quick.
And I think they only had like 4 units. Like I was complaining about at E3. Get more goddamn demo kiosks and get rid of the bloody fucking dragons. Though people like the spectacle, I want to play fucking games.
Yeah. I mean, like I have mixed feelings, because obviously I think like that's part of the experience, which is dope. But I also understand, like, without the giant dragon in their booth, or without, like the Bethesda booth, for example, they had a huge area where they were, making milkshakes, and it was all done up like the inside of a diner, which was super cool, but you could very easily have fit more kiosks in there too.
Yeah.
That being said, like, the one that was hard was the VR one, because you had 4. And I get that VR is expensive, or I shouldn't say expensive, but it's the space. It takes up a ton of space.
Yeah, it does take.
And because those are full HTC Vive.
You basically trade 5 plus or minus consoles / PCs for one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, and it sucks too because those are really, really cool that a lot of people don't have. So there's a much greater demand to check it out.
Bottom line is, I like the system. Yes, can it see some investment in improvements? Absolutely. Would I like to see it at more booths? Yes. I like the system. I like it much better than the Mad Dash.
Yes.
I'd rather have a shot. And for me, it's always worked. So I don't know if I'm just lucky or what, but I know some people couldn't get it to work, but
yeah,
you either couldn't get it to work or you don't get there in time is about the same thing. So for me, when it worked, it worked every time. I never had an issue.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that one might argue is that if you have a long ass line, some people are going to give up at some point and be like, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here. So,
yeah. Well, you'll always have the standby line. So we're not getting rid of that. Right.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think more people should have it, whether it be individual. I don't want to download 20 apps. Mm-hmm. I think the ideal solution is a convention app per se. It's just the PAX app has it in there.
Yeah.
And then it shows you all the demos. And then you also you prioritize. You're not going to get in all of them, but on Friday, I'm going to do these 2 things or these 3 things. And on Saturday, I'm going to do these things. And then on Sunday, I'm going to do these things. And Monday, I'm going to do these things. Mm-hmm. And then it's a fair go for everyone. And then you walk away not being like, oh, I didn't get to see Doom VR because the lineup, I had no chance. No, I got to see it because I prioritized it for this day. Or I got to see Shadow at War. Or I got to see, Monster Hunter World.
Right.
We didn't get to see that because the lineup was ridiculous and they weren't taking appointments. So it's I couldn't get at the convention center, be the first person in line. That's just not going to happen.
No, especially the way that they, I realize that they try to make the lines fair for people because the convention center is so big. You can essentially get in so many different ways.
So many, they have the main queue, but there's always, you could be the first in line in the main queue and somehow all the lines will be full when you get in the convention center.
Yeah.
Because someone came in some other entrance where the security guard didn't realize or didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Or just let them in.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, hope that worked for you. It sounds like you tried using it, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you said, the Nintendo booth thing. It sounds like
the Nintendo one was dumb because it was just the Mad Dash Disneyland. It's the true closest comparison to Fast Pass. You run to the terminal, you get a return time.
Right.
So that still basically was the exact same thing as a Mad Dash, and they ran out right away.
Of course,
so that system I think is dumb. I think the general app for everything would be awesome if it worked.
Yes, as long as
it's a big if. That's capital IF.
Yeah.
PAX is dope. I got PAX Pox. Let's end the show.
Yeah.
We got a lot of shit we're going to talk about. None of it comes out between now and then, so we can talk about it next week. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at RickF, no KRICF.
You can come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY. Little public service announcement. If you're feeling like you're not wanting to do much on Friday night, you'll probably be seeing me on the Wabam Twitch stream for the Nerdy Bartender. So,
Wabam!
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with those guys, talk about PAX, and make some drinks and drink some of their booze, which is always fun. So if you're not doing anything on Friday night, you want to come hang out, you can see my ugly mug there.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
So, yeah.
You have to make sure to drop as many possible plugs that it gets to a point where it's just awkward and weird.
I'll see what I can do.
Or at least if you freaking have to sever a champagne bottle, you do it this time.
Hey, man, that was not my fault. That was not my fault. But yes, we'll see what I'll know more about what's going on.
Check that out on Friday. Wabam.tv.
Wabam.tv.
Yeah. Make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. It's all Geekoholics. Or you can email Dane or me, Rico, and we're both at Geekoholics.com with our first names. Yeah. Oh, and rate us on iTunes, please. And until next week, I'm going to say we are out.
Later.
Peace.